Well, hello and welcome to Real Estate 360 Show. This is Steve Conley, hashtag unemployable.
And this is Jason O. Myles, hashtag the real estate trainer, hashtag add a zero. Add a zero. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today, Steve?
I am doing fantastic. I started laughing there at the end because of I said hashtag unemployable, but hey, that's nothing special these days.
No, not today. Not today. Not today. Unfortunately, we don't qualify for any of those stimulus checks.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we? I haven't tried or anything.
No, we wouldn't get them. It's a very strange thing that they made this whole package for small businesses to get the loans to pay their employees and, their rent or mortgage. There were these guidelines, but almost no small businesses, like really small businesses got them. They're all like big companies, 250 employees, 500. Some large companies got it. Some big schools even got it. And they just, dispersed the money, of course, they said, to the students as grants so that they could, figure out how they were doing. But the point I'm trying to make is very few of the small businesses actually got any of that money.
That doesn't make any sense, but this the control that government has on big business and big business has on government. It's a little mutual beneficial thing because they can collect, do the W-2s and collect all the money flowing through there, and they have a lot of oversight into that.
Yeah.
The small businesses out here, there's a little bit less of that. And, we're self-employed. We usually send our stuff in at the end of the year. So it doesn't create a good cash flow for the U.S. government like corporations do, right?
That's for sure. That's
but we're not here to talk about that.
No.
We're here to talk about, hey, how do you make money in this economy right now? What should you be doing? And what's coming up? And before the show here, you said, hey, this is what we should talk about. And I'm in total agreement. So tell me what you think.
Well, Steve, obviously, you and I have been continuing our business in terms of the things that we already had on the books. But we've also been using all of our resources, all of our connections to see what's out there, see what's available, because we know that we're going to be in trouble. We knew it. And we went out there and we tried to find deals where people were in trouble, where they needed to get out of them. On top of the marketing that we already do, there are people that just have to get out of a deal. They don't have any money. They've been in a situation and now it can't sell, or it wasn't selling. You had a lot of different people in the market it's not even the people, it's the information that the people were receiving, and they just didn't know what to do. And when people are confused, they tend to do nothing.
Yeah, that's true. They tend to lose their imagination because all the resources that are out there are unlimited. I'm not talking about just physical resources, of course, but just mainly our imagination.
Yeah.
And my favorite phrase is, oh, they just ran out of imagination, because that's really all it is,
Yeah. So it is, so for the active investors or people that have been threatening to start investing, one of the best things I think that people can do right now is to call up some agents that they're familiar with. Call Sammy up, call up whoever you're familiar with and say, hey, listen, are you aware of any opportunities out there right now? Yeah. Because they're out there. There's an area where we're investing in, or we were doing a lot of wholesale stuff in, where properties are starting to come available over there again because values they've held steady. There was a little bit of a dip, but nothing has dipped below 240. There are sales over there as high as 325 currently, but nothing has dipped below 240. And depending on where it is in that little bubble that we invested in, there's tremendous opportunity. We found a deal yesterday that I mean, it's a, what do you call it? It's a softball. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
Oh
a,
yeah. Well, for most people, I mean,
yeah,
for most people, it's probably not a softball. For us, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a cakewalk.
it is.
Because you know it's still going to take, as you pointed out, 50 or 60,000 to finish it up.
Yeah,
But
but that's 50 or 60 you could spend in 30 days and be done.
yeah,
You know, and it's not like, you know, we're doing the race against time on the Flip This Whatever show that's on, you know, A&E or HGTV. You know, that's not it at all. You know, when we go into a house, generally, audience, you have to remember the vast majority of the properties that we buy and fix, or sometimes not, just wholesale out, are the worst of the worst. You know, everything has to be redone.
yeah, we need to change our model on that just a little bit. Don't mind. I mean, I'm
You
kind
know,
of
but
tired.
that's where the problem lies, though, because, and I get it. I did, like, you know, so many people will look at those kind of deals and say, "Oh my God, push it down." How many times have we heard that? You know,
Benny.
oh, that's just a push down. You should just push that down and start all over. But when you see the finished product, you know, people are just awestruck, because you have to have the vision, first of all. And you do have to have the wherewithal, the cojones, if you will, to take on a project like that, because they're not, you know, they're not for the faint of heart at all, because there's going to be cost overruns, huge ones.
There are, and you know, it takes a certain amount of experience and perception and just being around it all. Could
Yeah.
could I tell you a story? One of my favorite stories about that.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
So I bought this house in Roswell, and it was a cream puff, really. I mean, you know, it was a little bit dated, and I had an investor that was with me that was an engineer. You know, he's a corporate guy. Uh, everything's, you know, straight and clean and so forth. Wears his necktie and all that. And so he walks into this house, you know, right when I'm looking at writing the offer, and there's stuff everywhere. There's trash everywhere, and there's just litter, and the walls are dingy and all this, and the carpet looks. I don't know if you can really even see the carpet because there's just so much stuff in there. So anyway, so I bought this thing, and he walked. When before I even bought it, he walked into there, into the property, and you know, there's pots and pans in the sink. There's litter everywhere. There's kids running around. You know, all that. He gets into the kitchen, looks, and turns around and walks out. And so I buy it, and then you know, a few weeks later, after buying it, I've gone in and cleaned it out, shampooed the carpets, didn't change them. They were fine because they were covered up with so much stuff. They really didn't get a chance to get, you know, stained or anything, and they were kind of brown anyway. And painted it, and that was it. That's all I did. You know, cleaned it and painted it, cleaned the carpets. He walks in and he goes like, "Wow, what did you do to this place?" You know, I'm confused, you know, because I'm thinking, well, I didn't do really anything, but it was just a matter of perspective.
Mm.
He couldn't see it because all he saw was how the disarray was.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just assumed, oh my God, this is a tear down. You know, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Just perception.
It really is. It really is, you know, and for folks that are just doing it right now or wanting to do it, when there is an issue, when there are tough times out there, which is what we're experiencing now, it's an unprecedented tough time, but it's a tough time nonetheless. Our traditional banks are lending. They are lending, you know, for home buyers. There is still a shortage of real estate in the market. You know, there are people that want to buy, and we are coming up again on a hot part of the season, and this summer is going to be very, very different. You know, generally people are going to travel and take vacations. Some of that is going to happen, but it's going to be limited. It's not going to be the same. People are going to be at home. If they had plans to buy a house, they'll probably do it a little bit sooner. because they've got time on their hands. I mean, if you drive around most neighborhoods right now in the Atlanta metropolitan area, you're going to see work trucks everywhere because people are at home and they're making improvements to their house. You know, maybe they're redoing a bathroom or, you know, whatever they're doing, fixing a roof, painting outside, because they have time. They have time to do these things that they've been planning on, things that were on the honey-do list that they just didn't get around to. Now they can. But a lot of these properties are going to come back on the market or come on in the market. So there's going to be a lot of sales coming up in the summer and fall.
No doubt. And, you know, to me, it looks like we're shifting. We're just taking this quarter and shifting it to the summer. And this is all about timing in this case, I think. That's just my opinion. Yeah. And the question is, when do we get going on this market? When do we buy and sell? And when are the buyers out there ready? And we're moving forward with what we have. Going to have a few more properties on the market in the next 30, 60 days, ready for the summer months, which is really the spring months, April, May, June.
That's right.
Advance those into June, July, August.
So let's talk about what those things are when we come back from the break.
Let's do it.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español. Llámanos. Call us today.
So we were talking about timing at the end of the last segment. And, you know, things are opening back up slowly. And as we move through this process, we all know that life is different on planet Earth now than it has ever been.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I see things kind of ramping up a little bit slowly. But, you know, going into this, I was asking a lot of folks, you know, their opinions, and some people that are kind of watch the, you know, the overall market, the big time marketplace. And they were predicting maybe a 15 to 20% reduction in home values, which I felt like was not terrible, considering the demand just basically stopping on the demand side. But you know what? I haven't really seen the demand stop completely, slow down certainly, but people are still selling houses. People are still looking at houses, certainly not nearly as much, and then, you know, with the restrictions. But I am very optimistic about how things are going to roll out coming out of this.
And you should be.
I don't think we're going to have 20% reductions in values. Maybe 10, depending on the area, maybe not even that. Of course, maybe 15 or 20, depending on, you know, but small areas that maybe were a little bit overinflated anyway. But inventories are going to be, depending on the area again, maybe a little bit thin. And I'm just optimistic. That's all.
Yeah, and you should be, because that's just what it is. For guys like us, for wholesalers, for people that want to wholesale, you know, the work is really on our shoulders right now, to be honest with you. To go out there and find these gems, you know, to do the negotiating, to look at them, to really understand what the values are right now today. Going in, you know, don't play the future value game, because a lot of people do that in single family and multifamily. You know, you're making it really difficult on yourself, you know, because the reality of it is you're not only solving the problem, but you're taking over that problem from someone else. And you're either going to address the problem yourself or pass that on to someone else, meaning you're either going to wholesale the deal or you're going to do the renovations yourself. But either way it goes, you're acquiring a problem. You're solving someone else's problem. You have to be compensated for that. So do not fall into the trap of paying future value. So if you see
can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
You mean, I know exactly what you mean with future value, which means higher value. But future value in this case is probably going to be lower value. So do future value, but, you know, deduct instead of add on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just like a perfect example of that would be, okay, I'm looking at a house on Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Now they want $110,000 for this house because they see listings at 400. Okay. Now, an active listing is totally different than current sales.
Completely.
So
Yeah.
just because it's listed at 400,000 does not mean it's going to sell at 400,000, right?
Yeah,
So
I got a few people that fall into that trap of category, and every now and then they'll, we're talking about a particular house, and they send me one house that sold for this amount of money, or they send me one house that's listed for this amount of money, and I'm thinking, hey, one sale or one listing is not a CMA, not a comparative market analysis. It's not
not at
even
all.
close.
Not at all.
And to stake a value on one property just doesn't make any sense. You have to know how to dig into the numbers to determine what to pay for something to buy it, and then on the back end what it's going to be worth, when it's fixed. And it depends on there's a lot of variables in there.
Yeah, but even simplifying it, because the old adage is true. You make your money in real estate when you buy.
That's right.
So if someone has a listing for a property at 400,000, and you're looking at this house and you're doing your evaluation, and let's say you're wholesale. If you're looking at that and you take that number, that 400,000, and you say, okay, 70% of that number is what someone's willing to pay. So that's going to be 280,000 all in, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
If you're going to buy it, this is how the numbers play out. So if you're going to buy it at 110,000, and maybe you have to do an addition to this to get the actual value, and that's going to cost you at least 120. And you do that math and you say, okay, $230,000, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And there's $50,000 that I can sell it. I can buy it for 110, put 50 on it, and sell it for 160. Oh, I'm in the game. That's how people think, because they're seeing a listing at 400. But when you really do the math, when you really do your research, you see that the actual houses that sold in that neighborhood over the past 3 to 6 months are going to be anywhere between 240 and 300,000.
Exactly. And, wholesalers, if you look at their sheets, and I've got right here, this is a wholesaler who sent me 30 properties. Look at that. 30. So, I mean, he doesn't own all those. I don't think now. It's possible.
Yeah.
But most of the wholesalers out there, and us included too, because we can't certainly know everything. But if you look at the small print at the bottom of the page where you get the flyer, it says, do your own due diligence.
Absolutely.
Verify all these numbers. Make sure that what we are seeing here and putting out on this piece of paper fits with your belief systems, because, it's basically caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. Because as a lot of these wholesalers don't know what they're doing. I mean, I know one that's very, very successful, and he said, Steve, listen, I don't even know why people buy my houses. I don't know why they do what they do. I said, well, don't you run the numbers? He says, yeah, but I don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah. But again, that's because a lot of people just don't want to do the marketing for those properties. They literally want people to lay it on their desk, lay it in front of them so they can pick and choose what works best for them.
And that's the whole point of being in the wholesale business, right there.
Absolutely.
It does cost money to market for these things, and there's expertise involved in administration. It's a lot of work to go and find these great properties.
That's right. And even that guy that
you sell it,
even that person that sent you those 30 properties, they are practicing something that we talk about. I know I talk about a lot. And that is, it doesn't matter if you don't have the money or the know-how for that matter to go out and find the owners, right?
Yeah.
The individual owners, connect with other wholesalers, call those bandit signs that are on the street that you see, because those people are marketing for the homeowners. Call them because they probably have property. Call other wholesalers and tell them, hey, listen, I've got a group of people I'd like to market your property to. Even if all you're going to do is list it on Craigslist, or some people still do that, or Facebook, or, whatever you're going to do. If you're going to cross market, that's a great way to do it, a great way to start making money, and then develop your own marketing strategies. Like we're helping people that want to do not necessarily wholesaling, but they want to be first in line. We're helping people, renovators, be first in line.
Yes.
We've created processes that allow someone who wants to wholesale, they have to do a little negotiating, but they're used to that. But they know where to go and when to go and what to say. We've taken all of the questions out of the equation for them.
So this wholesale business I'm glad you pointed that out, because, you don't necessarily have to know what you're doing, but the more you do it, the more you will learn.
That is correct. That's it. It's just like riding a bike. You can't read a book about how to ride a bike. You got to get on the bike to work out all those little intricate muscles that need to keep you balanced.
Yes, sir.
So get on the bike. But hey, let's take a break. Come back and talk a little bit about
Do you need to sell your house? Well, our company will buy your house. We make the process very fast, very easy, and it's all cash. All you have to do is give us a call today.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
All right, we are back. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. Listen, we're talking about marketing. We're talking about simplifying the process for some folks. And Steve, you've got some great ideas. We talked about this. We put something together, and it works for us. What is it exactly?
Well, the co-op advertising, I think, is what you're talking about. Some years ago, I put together some things and threw it out on television just to see what would happen. And in my help me with this word,
naivete.
Thank you. I said, oh yeah, man, I'm just going to run these ads on TV and then answer the phone, because I'm a big believer in answering the phone. So I had 4 people in the office, and we ran the ads, and oh my God, the phones, we get 10, 20 calls, in the course of like 2 minutes. And that didn't work. I got steamrolled right over on that thing. So, from that experience, you and I have put together a co-op marketing program, and that includes television. It's sort of the same thing that I had run before. So, I know what I'm doing when it comes to that. I've had the experience, got the background, got a journalism degree, that's so long ago. I don't know if that counts. And so we're doing like a marketing mix with social media, some Facebook, some YouTube, maybe some direct mail, and television. Television is going to be kind of our primary. May do some billboards, but we're going to roll that. We've been rolling that out, and it's starting to come online, right now. And so we're going to be reporting back to you about the results of that. So in the meantime, the system is, bring all the leads into a website so people can submit their properties that want to sell. People that want to sell can submit their properties on the website, and it gets emailed to our admin person. People that are calling from the television ads, or of course they have the option to go online and put their information in, or make a phone call. Some people would rather talk to somebody. Some people would rather do it online. So let's give them all the options. And so all that feeds right into our admin person. And so we end up with a bunch of people who want to sell. And we think that right now, the timing of that is about right now.
Well, it's absolutely right, Steve. I mean, we are watching, literally watching something that I won't say is unprecedented, but we've been here before. You know, we were here 10 years ago when people were losing houses left and right. And now that, and it's unfortunate, but listen, it's unfortunate that people are going to lose their house because they lost their job. It truly is, you know, but the sad truth of the matter is, and I hate to sound like this, but life goes on. You know, when we were going through our rough times, we were steamrolled by everyone that was able to do stuff, right? So it's not that we're trying to be a steamroller. It's that there's opportunity in these calamities. I mean, it's whenever there are problems, there are opportunities. And you can't just, you know, I mean, you can't just stop because you can benefit off something someone else lost, if you will.
You know, it's really, it's not a bad thing. It just looks like a bad thing, depending on where you are in your life. And I can't tell you how many people I know that have had challenging, very, very, very challenging situations, whether it be, you know, health, relationships, career, any of those. But from that challenging situation, they came out much, much better, stronger, happier. You know, they just got, usually you get more benefit out of something like that than you get negativity. Of course, we can't normally see that when we're going through it, but you can when you turn around and look back and say, wow, that was really the best thing that ever happened to me, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, it's about perspective again, right? Yeah. So some people will fall into those situations and then choose to stay there and be the victim. You know, we obviously are not those kinds of folks because we can't afford to be. You know, we've got a lot of people that depend on us to do what we do. You know, we've got not just our families, but we've got people that we pay. You know, we've got and their families. You know, we've got clients that literally rely on us to give them, you know, what they need, their leads, their property, you know, so they can do what they do. Because we've been around for a while and they trust, even when we put our properties out there, when we have a property that we're wholesaling and we put it out there, do you know how few people actually do the work that we do? We go into them, we take pictures, we make those pictures available to people. We do the line item budget SOWs, and we make that available to them. We give them the comps, more than 3, and tell them to go check it out for themselves. I mean, when they get a package from us, they are getting everything they need to literally go into a lender if they decide to do the deal.
Yeah.
You know, but there are very few people that do that. Going back to the example that I talked about before, you know, how many of those $160,000 deals fall on your desk when they're telling you a property's worth 400 and you know it's worth 3, or they're telling you it only needs 30,000 in renovation, but to get to the value that they're telling you, you've got to add 500 square feet to it. It's going to cost a lot more than $30,000, right? So, you know, these are things that people absolutely have to be aware of. But if we can take the question out of it for some of them, the question mark, you know, where do I get direct mail? What do I save? You know, who do I send it to? You know, am I going to do cold calling? Or where are they going to call if they want to sell the house? I mean, can I handle 200 telephone calls if I do this myself? You know, a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to focus on fixing and flipping.
Exactly. And, you know, what we're offering with this co-op marketing plan is the ability for your regular fix and flip guy to basically step around the wholesaler. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of creating competition for ourselves.
Absolutely.
There's only going to be so many slots that are available. That's it. You know, once we get to a certain number, then then
that's not a sales tactic, Steve. That's not a sales tactic. I want people to understand that, you know, when we've been doing this for a while, guys, so we know who we need to talk to. We know who we need to market to. We can see the things that are going on, you know. So we market to these demographics, and we have different things that need to be said, you know, in terms of how they need to be reached. You know, you can't reach everyone with a comedy skit. You know, some people are in a different place mentally and emotionally, and, you know, you have to talk to them in that manner as well, but you have to be able to deliver those messages. And then once that message is delivered, you have to know how to respond. And we kind of show people how to respond to that based on where that came in. You know, if we've got someone that's calling in and saying, you know, my mother just passed away and I need to sell this house, you know, you're not going to go over there with a hard sell. You know what I mean? You're just not. But that's the kind of information and data we're able to provide people. And the reality of it is wholesalers even like this, because guess what? Those wholesalers are going to spend money, but they know that we do it better than them because they know us.
That's right.
So they invest in their businesses for us to do their marketing for them and give them 2, 3, 5 leads a month that they can actually close and wholesale out to someone else, because now they're first in line. They're first in line.
If they're really good wholesalers, they're going to be spending that money anyway.
Absolutely.
And so why would they want to do all that work, which is spend the money, do the direct mail, maybe do the YouTube stuff and get online and do all that social media, answer the phone calls and do all the processes. And so now all they have to do is get their 5 leads, whatever number it is, and go talk to the people and write the contracts.
That's right.
Wow. That's a lot simpler.
And again, you know, we'll have anywhere between 15 and 20 people in the whole metropolitan area. Yeah. Because you want to make sure people are getting the leads that they need. You know, if we're generating a realistic, you know, 100 leads a month, I mean, like, we've already sifted through all of the BS, and we had 100 people that are really ready to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that's
a lot.
That's 5 deals for each person. If it's 20 folks, if it's 10 folks, it's 10 deals for each person. I mean, that's a lot of opportunity. That's a lot of money.
You know, and there's a spot in here for realtors as well, because these are people who want to sell their house. And a number of them will come up and say, listen, we're not in a hurry. We just want to sell it. And we really want the high retail price for it. And maybe the house is in pretty good shape. We're just going to say, listen, list it with our realtor, or don't sell it to us because we're not going to give you what you want. But a realtor involved in this is going to get a huge number of those leads.
Yeah, but even the wholesaler or the fix and flipper that gets that exact same lead, you know, they're going to have that same conversation, and then they're going to take that and they're going to take it to an agent that they're familiar with and say, hey, listen, I've got Jane Doe over here who wants to sell this property. I can't pay her what she needs. It's worth a lot more. I'm going to give you this lead, but when you sell it, I need 20% of your commission.
Yeah.
What agent isn't going to say yes to that? If they want the business, they're going to take it because they didn't have to do anything to get it.
Well, you know, and that's a deal because there are online programs such as Zillow.
Charge 35%.
Huh?
They charge 35%.
They charge 35%. Exactly. So 20% is a pretty good deal, you know.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Steve, let's take a quick break.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hi, this is Sammy with Sammy Hadid Real Estate Keller Williams. Are you looking for a top producing agent who will look out for your best interests? Top dollar on the sale of your home, a well-negotiated contract, an efficient closing? Please call me at 305-978-4249. I'm more than happy to set up a consultation. I'll put together a proposal for you to net top dollar for your home, what it is that I'm doing to get all my homes sold. Then you can decide what's best for you. Again, I'll do whatever it takes to get your home sold for top dollar, and I promise you that I will protect your equity with my life. 305-978-4249. Sammy Hadid, Hadid.
Okay, we're back. It's realestate360show.com. Hey, during the break, we were talking a little bit, and Jason Myles, you have something to say.
Absolutely, man. Let me continue this whole thing. You know, we were just talking about how Zillow charges these agents 35% if the lead, if they get the lead from them and it closes and so on and so forth. You know, Zillow, very interesting. You know, in the past couple of years, we use Zillow a lot for very simple in the field valuations based on what has sold, right? Not what's listed, not the Zestimate, but what has sold. It gives us a really good representation of what that immediate area is. But Zillow got really smart a few years ago and said, hey, listen, we've got all the opportunity right here. We've got all the data. We've got all the contact information. We need to be buying. And then they bought everything, and they paid too much for most of it. And it made it very difficult for guys like us, for people like us that want to wholesale, because we would go to Zillow and look for the for sale by owners and look for the cheapest listings. And we got deals from there a lot. We don't really get as many deals from Zillow anymore. I can't think of any over the past 12 months, but Zillow bought all this stuff and they got saddled with it because they spent too much. They paid too much trying to do what the hedge funds did coming out of the Great Recession. And they recently had to pull out of the market as buyers. They pulled out as buyers because, one, these are tech guys, right? These are tech guys that hired realtors and brokers to be investors.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, they hired the wrong people.
They did, and the timing was all wrong.
I mean, you and I could have did that if we'd had the CEOs there say, listen, come on, you've got all the data. We know how to pitch it to the investors. We know how to buy it right. Let us help you out. They didn't do that. They wanted to go in and sweep the market and try to corner a piece of it all around the country, all at the same time. And they were sad. It's kind of like Uber Eats. It's just a drain on that company. I don't know why they keep it going. They just need to, if they got rid of it, they'd probably be profitable immediately, right? But that's the same thing that happened with Zillow. They got overzealous, greedy even.
Yeah.
And
but this is bringing me back to perspective again, if you will, and maybe we should call this show Perspective. But right now, I am really excited about where we are sitting at the moment.
Yeah.
I believe that the timing for anyone who's in the market in the real estate business right now, investor business, and those people who want to join into this market right now who said, man, I've always wanted to be a real estate investor. Man, this is the perfect time, I think.
Yeah. It is.
Honestly, we can find great properties and great numbers and, deals. I don't really like the word deals, but, we can find those anytime. It doesn't matter what's happening out there in the marketplace. It just doesn't make any difference because there's plenty of them that will fit those percentages.
That's right.
But right now, with the timing that we have, I see, 10 times the amount coming down the pike than is normal. Now, you and I, Jason Myles, we can walk around a neighborhood and stumble on them, like another, pebble.
Yeah. Because that's what happens, that is what happens. And you know what, you're right. That they're not deals, they're opportunities.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
And they're everywhere. And the reality of it is you have to prepare yourself. Once you start to have a little success in this, you have to really prepare yourself financially for where you want to go when it slows down. Because just like in life, business is up and down. Up and down. There are peaks and valleys, and you have to prepare yourself for that. So that means, if you're doing the average wholesale deal and you're making, $6,000-$7,000 a deal, and you're investing, a couple $1,000s a month into your marketing campaign, and you're doing, 3, 4, 5 deals, don't just go out and buy $100,000 car and a $500,000 house. Scale your business first so you can make it easy. because then when there is a dip in the market, you can buy stuff that everyone else, you can do then what most people won't be able to do.
Right.
If you do now what most people won't do. And that is invest your cash wisely, hold on to a certain percentage of it, develop your credit profile, get yourself those lines of credit. It is work, it is a process, but ultimately, hey, listen, you're building a business. And when the market does slow down, you want to be in position to take advantage of it.
And you said building your business, and I'm going to take that idea of the building your business and bounce it back to the wholesale real estate market, because each and every little property, quote unquote, little property that we get, to me, is like a business opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's like you're selling a business. Mm-hmm. So here's what you will put into it. Here's what your projected income will be from this little part-time business. Mm-hmm. Here's what you have to do to add the value to that property, to the business. Mm-hmm. And here are all the team players that you need. Those team players are so critical.
Absolutely.
We've had good ones and we've had bad ones. Mm-hmm. We've been good and we've been bad ones too.
Yeah.
But we've over the time we have honed our skills, created a fantastic team, and we're not trying to make all the money. You and I aren't trying to make all the money. We're trying to share it with everybody, because I don't know about you, but I don't want to do all the work.
No, and that's the importance of having that success team. Your success team is vital, but understand that your team starts with you.
Yes, it starts with you, and I'm going to pick that up for a minute, and say, just get started, just get going, do the things that you would believe you need to do in the real estate business. Now, for me, what I did was, when I first started, I just went out and looked at every single house I could find. I just printed off all the MLS stuff. Started looking at houses because I needed to know how to determine the value. Number one, what is this thing worth now? And what is it going to be worth after it's fixed? And what about all of the permutations in between? So what I ended up doing was trying to understand all those differences. And one of the things that ended up that I came up with was, because I was trying to do too much. I was trying to focus in on every little detail. And I finally realized, hey, I'm not an appraiser. I don't need to be an appraiser. I don't want to be an appraiser, but so I stepped back, got a different perspective, a wider perspective, and came out with what ended up being kind of a real quick way to figure out how much the values were, how much it would cost to fix those, and what they would be worth after it was all over. So what do you think about that, Mr. Myles?
I got to tell you, man, I believe wholeheartedly in every word that you just spewed.
I know you do. Whatever that was.
Oh, man, you are hilarious.
Anyway, so it was really about stepping back and perspective and determining where you need to start in your own marketplace, and being, because it starts with you. It starts with you. What do you need to do? Take the action, get going, do what you need to do.
That's right. That's right. Because listen, listen, even when we get off of this, I gotta get up, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go meet the contractors. I gotta go look at a place. I'll be on the phone with you. Yeah. And then whoever else I have to call from there, we've got to put in draws, and because it takes so long to get things done right now until we're 100% back online. But, we have to mind the store, right? We have to stay on top of our business, man, because, if we don't, we won't have a business. And I just want to say this real quick. If people want to hear more about this, really, go to realestate360show.com, check out our podcasts, see what kind of education is available to you, and take full advantage of it. Because again, we're here to make sure that people know how to do this properly in all climates, as we have lived through them and won and lost through them over the past, for me, 20 years, for you, 21, and it's
years for me?
just 21, just 21, and it's real, guys. This is a real business. It will change your life. It can be a side hustle for you, if you will, or it can be your main gig. This is what you need to do. This is how you make your money. This is how you solve problems, and you got to get at it.
Yes, and we're really here for you guys. We're looking to develop as many relationships as we possibly can, and as a result of that, we created our little 2-hour seminars that we were doing monthly there for a while, which was a physical location. We are going to start those back up pretty soon. Now, are we going to do a Zoom meeting on those in the meantime?
Absolutely. We're actually setting that up right now. Hopefully we'll have something to promote and share with people over the course of the next week or two.
Okay, cool. Then keep reaching out to us, looking at the realestate360show.com site. We will put the information there for you, because you're going to love what we do.
Yeah. And you know what? Go to Facebook. Catch us, Real Estate 360 on Facebook, Instagram. Link up with us there, because we share information there as well. So follow us there as well.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up our show for today. And y'all have a fantastic shelter-at-home experience.
We're free now. We're free to roam, baby.
That's right. Free at last.
See you next week.